he did give me a lot of scope. I was the navigating officer on a cruise to West Africa, and I was in his ship because he was not only the commanding officer of the ship I was in, he was the commanding officer of a squadron of ships. So he was, as the squadron commander, and when we went on this deployment, I think it was 1962, he made me the navigator for that whole trip. Now, in those days, we didn't have these things called GPSs, et cetera, like you have on your phones. We had to navigate by celestial navigation in the mid-ocean. And that was a great thrill because I had learned all of this stuff when I was in my first course, and it was a chance to apply it. And I can remember we were crossing the Atlantic, and we hadn't had any radio aids or anything like that in the mid-ocean. We relied solely on an instrument called a sextant, where you measure the angle of the sun or a celestial body to the horizon, and you do some mathematical calculations. You get a position line, and you do it for another celestial object at a different angle. And where those two position lines cross, that's where you are. So you do that in the middle of the ocean. And to challenge me, he was up on the bridge, and he says, "Okay, no, he said pilot. That's what they call the navigator, pilot. Pilot, when do we see land?" And, well, I said, "I think about 3:45 this afternoon, we should sight the Cape Verde Isles fine on our starboard bow." You know, that was a bit of bravado on my part. Hell, I was, 20 years old, 21 years old. And I was telling this guy who had all sorts of experience when he would see land. So I was not on watch, and I was down below, and I said, "Oh, well, it's about time." So I went up to the bridge, and there he was, looking down the bearing. He says, "Can I see that land?" Fortunately, the land did show up, right as I said it would and where I said it would be.